Have you ever had a clear vision in your mind and in your heart to inspire others to action, and they just don't get it? And the real question is, can they see what you see? Well, that often is one of the struggles that we find in leadership. And so by the end of this episode, we hope to give you leadership principles and tools that you can take so that you can communicate the vision that God has put in your heart very, very clearly. You see, leadership must have vision. You must have a vision to be a successful leader. You have to know where God is leading you. I think of the story of Nehemiah. Nehemiah is a perfect example. Nehemiah had a vision of rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. They had been burnt with fire. The walls had been torn down. They were laying in rubbish. And yet when he came back and he shared a vision with the entire community that we could have a beautiful city, a safe city, we could have beautiful walls and beautiful gates, they rallied around that vision and they rebuilt the walls. So how do we communicate the vision that God has put in our heart with clarity? Well, let me give you several ways. Number one is this, is start with revelation, not inspiration. Now that seems counterintuitive because we want to be inspiring. We want to inspire others to action. And yet, what are we inspiring them to do? I believe that speaking first the revelation that God has given you is a key to inspiring other people. In fact, it was God who told the prophet Habakkuk. He said that, I want you to write down the vision that I am giving you. So the vision that we are sharing with others and inspiring others to action is not just a good idea. It has to be a God idea of what He wants us to do. Proverbs 29:18 tells us that without a vision, people perish. That's why it is so critical that we have a clear vision from God, because other people's lives depend upon it. So what did Nehemiah do? Well, the Bible tells us that Nehemiah first prayed to the God of heaven. And there in just that few moments, God took the plan that had been put into Nehemiah's heart, and Nehemiah was able to clearly communicate that vision to the king, inspiring the king to action, gaining favor with the king, but also the king's provision. So when you're communicating the vision, begin with revelation, not just inspiration. Secondly is this, paint a picture, not just the plan. You see, that's what vision is. Vision is a clear picture of God's preferred future for your life. And so often we want to jump right into the plan. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's how we're going to climb this mountain. But paint a picture of the view of the mountain before you paint the path in how you're going to get there. Again, Nehemiah observed that the walls were broken down. And so what did he do? Is that he painted this picture of a beautiful city, a beautiful wall, a beautiful gate, a safe city that people could live and dwell in, free from the attacks of the enemy. And so they painted this picture and they received that picture in their heart. And as a result of it is that they rallied around and they completed this wall and they put their hands to the task and they did an amazing amount of work in just such a short time. Well, Jesus used stories as well. He painted pictures. He told the story of the Good Samaritan, the story of the lost coin, the story of the lost sheep, the story of the prodigal son. And all of them were real life examples that the people of that day could identify with. They could insert themselves right into the story. So paint a picture, not just your plans. Number 3 is this. You got to speak with passion and conviction. If you are not excited about the vision that God has given you, I got news for you. No one else will. So you have to be passionate about the vision and the mission that God has given you. You see, passion is contagious. If you're passionate about something, other people are going to be passionate with you. If you are excited about what God has put in your heart, others are going to be excited with it as well. It's the simple expression of smiling. When you smile, you're probably going to get one back. And that's the way passion is. When you are passionate, other people will be passionate also. Passion is very contagious. So share a personal story of maybe how God led you to pursue this vision. Share a personal story, why you're so passionate about this. This is what Nehemiah did. Nehemiah, as the cupbearer, came before the king, and the king said to Nehemiah, Nehemiah, why are you so sad? And Nehemiah said, how can I not be sad when the city, my homeland, the walls have been broken down, the gates have been burned with fire, my countrymen are at a loss. How can I not be sad? You see, he painted a picture of the pain that he was going through. So when he came to share the vision of the next step, the king had already bought in. And so paint the picture and then share it with passion. Number 4 is this: make it clear and simple. Remember, a vision is a picture, a clear picture of a preferred future. You're painting that picture so that others can see. That's where the word vision comes from. You're wanting them to see. And so paint that picture that they can see. Now, a vision is focused on tomorrow, where you're going. Whereas a mission is about today. It's about how do we get from where we are today to where we're going tomorrow. But vision is about tomorrow. So bring it as clear and as simple as possible. I would even encourage you, as you refine your vision statement, put it in as few words as possible. Maybe even a sentence. And if you can even shorten that sentence to a few words, that's even better. How do you do that? Well, here's one of the ways, and a simple tool that I've encouraged others to do it. Other people have used this as well. It's called the elevator speech. If you had 30 seconds to share the vision with someone else, what would you say? How would you communicate that vision? Well, work on it, practice it, write it down, make it as clear as others, and practice it with other people as well. Number 5 is this: call people to action. You see, vision without an actionable next step, it's just a fantasy. You have to have an actionable next step of where you're going to go from where you are today to the vision that God has placed within your heart. This is what Jesus did. Jesus, in his teachings, he always gave actionable steps. Here's my paraphrase of a very familiar story. Jesus is with his disciples in the boat. They have this incredible haul of fish. That was a miracle. They come onto the land, and Jesus says to his disciples, he said, listen, we had a lot of fun, didn't we? But I've got even greater news for you. I've got a greater adventure for you. I will show you how not just to fish for fish, I'll show you how to fish for people. Now, come and follow me. You see, he gave that actionable step. He painted a picture of a preferred future of what their life could be. And then he gave an actionable step of what they could do. Come and follow me. And they did, and their lives were changed. Number 6 is this: reinforce and repeat. Why is that important? Leaders are repeaters. Continually repeat the vision. And if you're not continually repeating the vision that God has given in your heart, and if it's not memorable, that comes back to make sure it's clear and simple. That's what God said to the prophet Habakkuk. He said, write it down and make it so plain and so clear that others who read it can run with it. So as you make this clear and make it memorable, make sure to repeat it so that others can capture it within their heart. One of the mistakes that I see so many pastors do is they have one Sunday a year they call Vision Sunday. In reality, half of the congregation is there, so half of the congregation misses Vision Sunday. They never heard the vision. But in reality, they probably have forgot the vision by the end of the month. Why do I say that? You see, Nehemiah, it says that they built the wall in 52 days. That's less than 2 months. But halfway through building the wall, the Bible says that the workers, they got weak, they got tired, they got discouraged, they were ready to throw in the towel and quit. And as I read that story, it dawned on me that vision lasted about 1 month. So if you're just having a Vision Sunday, one Sunday a year, the people have probably forgot the vision by the end of the month. Most likely they forgot about it by the end of the week, and a lot of them probably forgot about it by the end of this Sunday morning service. So that's why, as leaders, we must continue to repeat the vision. Why? Because leaders are repeaters. So repeat the vision often, because leaders are repeaters. Did you catch that? All right. So what do we do now? Well, let me recap these steps for you. Start with revelation, not just inspiration. Paint a picture, not just a plan. Speak it with passion and conviction. Make it clear and make it simple. Call people to action, and then reinforce and repeat. Why? Because leaders are repeaters. All right, so let me encourage you. If God has given you a God vision and He has placed it on the inside of your heart, then I would encourage you to take the next step, take an action step, and write it down. Put it in a sentence and work on it over this next week. And if you found this video inspiring to you and of value to you, then I would encourage you to share it with someone else. My name is Dale Sisam, and I'm so privileged to lead a ministry called Harvest Network. It's a network of churches and Christian leaders. And one of the reasons that we have joined together is because we believe that leadership is a journey that we just dare not take alone. That being together on mission and serving the Lord, fulfilling His plan and His purpose in our life can be so fulfilling when we do it together. And we've also found that so many leaders walk through their own personal trials and maybe discouragement, burnout, exhaustion, family issues, or other crises, and they have found that they live in isolation with one another. And yet, we believe that there is a better way. And that better way is not being isolated, but rather be insulated, having other leaders that are surrounding you to encourage you, to support you, so that you can become a better leader in leading what God has called you to do. And so I just would encourage you that if you are interested and excited about learning more, check out our website. We would love to have that conversation with you. So subscribe to our podcast, because every week we bring forth new podcasts from one of our leaders. And we want to encourage you and inspire you to fulfill all that God has placed within your heart. So until next time, lead with vision.